Hey guys, Strong Style Studios here, back again. It's Alex.
And your boy Noah.
And we are here to do another episode of Run the Ropes. We're talking about WWE and the Mania card. We're talking about El Generico, CHIKARA, and a little bit of ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Obviously, Justin the Orange Dream isn't here, but he will be having some videos coming out this weekend talking about the New Japan Pro Wrestling New Japan Cup. So he'll be doing reviews on that. So stay tuned for those. He'll be doing them by himself.
And those videos are going to be a little bit shorter than what we normally put out.
Yeah.
So if you guys have a short attention span, certainly turn into those.
We'll try to do some shorter videos now.
We're going to try.
Yeah. No.
We tend to run our lips.
Yes, exactly. First thing we want to talk about was this past Monday's Raw, which was a tribute to Paul Bearer, and a very nice tribute as well, I think. They showed some clips, including some clips I've never seen his debut before on the Brother Love show or whatever. And I actually thought it was kind of cool to see.
I read about that in Mick Foley's book, but I never saw it. No.
And I also liked that they showed the one him and Fuji like in the interrogation room was pretty funny. Like with the dress,
yes,
that was funny. And they showed my favorite, which was WrestleMania 20, his return with the Undertaker. That was a great moment.
I love that moment.
Yep.
That was my first WrestleMania I ever watched live.
That was mine was WrestleMania 17 actually.
You watched that live?
Yes, and I'll talk about that another time because that's a really great story about that. But so yeah, it was a very nice tribute to Paul Bearer, and I think very befitting. I would like this right now. The thing I loved most about it was Undertaker coming out at the beginning of the show and doing his tribute, which is very much keeping in character, which I think is the best thing for Undertaker. Because I don't want to see the Undertaker give a heartfelt promo about Paul Bearer. I just want to see Undertaker just do the kneel and like do the hand thing. Yeah. That's just what I want to see from.
That's a perfect salute.
Yeah, exactly. It's in anything. It's better for Undertaker to give a salute in character than to break character to send a tribute to Paul Bearer because.
Right, and the thing is, it'd be different if he was one of those guys that would cut a fantastic promo, but it'd be very basic. And, and we get the point. Like you miss him and you respected him, so this was perfect. I thought.
But obviously the bigger controversy was, well, somewhat controversy, was CM Punk interrupting it. Now, personally for me, I thought it was very, very appropriate because Paul Bearer obviously was a very big professional. He had a great respect for this business. He was very, very much in line of keeping character. Like he was always wanting something to be along the lines of kayfabe. So obviously the Undertaker doing that tribute was very appropriate. And CM Punk, I thought he didn't insult Paul Bearer at all. It was just him playing mind games with Undertaker, getting inside of Undertaker's head. And at no point did I feel that it was offensive to Paul Bearer or to his memory at all.
I'm going to disagree with you just a little bit, just because I don't think it was that disrespectful in the point that just because he is such a professional, like you said, Paul Bearer wouldn't have minded if he was still around, if they did something like that. But I think the only problem that you would have is if maybe his family was tuning in for the show because they knew it was a tribute to him. Yeah. Maybe that would have been a little offensive. But like you said, it didn't really bother me that much. I've come to expect these kind of things from Punk. Yeah. Punk's the kind of guy that nothing's off. Nothing is too far out there that you can't touch on it. Nothing's off limits. Mm-hmm. I really didn't have that big of a problem with it.
And also, I think Punk is one of those guys, like, has such respect for this business that he's not going to do something that he knows is going to... He'll step over the line a little bit, but he's not going to completely jump over the line and do something completely offensive, So, which is why, and also I think with The Undertaker out there, if it was anyone else but The Undertaker doing the tribute out there, yeah, it might have been offensive, but with The Undertaker, Taker is going to make things not offensive at all because he has such respect for Paul. I guarantee you they must have cleared things up with Paul's family. Like first, hey, this is what we're gonna do. Are you okay with this? I'm guaranteed probably had they probably had the Undertaker do it. Talk to them.
Even if they didn't, the fact that Taker said it was okay, that's enough for me. Yeah. Honestly, it's not like Punk came out there and ripped Paul. No, to pieces. It was just the fact that he interrupted during that was supposed to be disrespectful. Yeah. And it was, and it worked, and did it dance with the line a little bit? Yeah, but it didn't go over the line. Right. But then the other thing was that they had Kane challenge Punk to a match out of insulting his dad, and I thought first and foremost I liked the idea that Punk was taking on Undertaker's brother Kane, which makes sense in the storyline. Mm-hmm. However, we have kind of like a I don't want to say like a disagree. Well, you disagree with the finish of the match, but I kind of was like, okay, that's best.
which was at the end of the match, it was a no disqualification match first and foremost, which actually turned out pretty good, I thought.
I think that the match would have been not quite as good. I think the no DQ stipulation really helped the match.
Yeah.
Made it more interesting.
Yeah.
Kane is kind of limited.
Yeah. I don't think these guys have really great chemistry in their
No,
They've had a few matches together, they don't. But anyway, so Punk was going for like the finish, it looked like, and then Undertaker's music hit, and then Kane got a chokeslam on Punk and won the match. Now, on the other hand, I'm going to say my opinion, you can say yours. I thought it worked in the contents of, well, CM Punk was playing mind games with Undertaker earlier, then Undertaker was playing mind games with Punk, and obviously, I would have preferred if Punk had just got a roll-up and 1, 2, 3, stole away from Kane, and then the music hit, and then Punk got chokeslam to end the show, and then they do whatever they did afterwards. But yeah, to have Punk lose this close to Mania is kind of a bad decision. But obviously, you're not going to have Taker have any matches. So the biggest part of the storyline isn't going to be so much wins and losses. It's going to be the mental mind game sort, like who can one up each other. Which Punk had a very nice mind game, when he stole the urn of Paul Bear's and posed afterward. I thought okay, that is awesome, because it just goes back to old school, where Undertaker would carry on the urn, and it was a symbol of power and everything. So I hope they keep it going on Monday Night Raw a little bit, like next week, where they have Punk maybe cut a promo with the urn in his hand or something like this, and do something kind of interesting with that. But I thought it was as good as it was going to get if you can have Punk lose. Yeah,
I would definitely agree with that. But I don't think Punk should have lost.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the fact that they use the urn.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. It makes it almost feel like, the Taker will lose his streak at Mania, but he'll also lose the urn, which is more, it's so symbolic, especially now that Paul Bear has died.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I don't think that Punk should have lost that match. I think he should have beat Kane. I think that would have helped with all the mind games thing.
Yeah.
He could have went out there and said, Undertaker, I beat your brother, I beat your family, your blood, and now I'm holding your father's ashes.
Well,
I think that would have really helped the storyline, but I also think that the way that they booked Raw as an individual show, I don't think Punk could have lost. I think they booked themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Punk should have won that by any means necessary. And especially since it was a no DQ match, I think it would have been easier for them to back themselves. He could have done anything. He could have hit Kane with 12 chairs. He could have dropped him off a ladder. He could have done, anything.
Yeah.
I just feel like they should have gave Punk the win, but I felt like they almost just didn't want to offend people. Yeah.
And I guarantee you that I would not be surprised if next Monday they have Punk in a match with Kane and then he beats him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at that.
Which, truth be told, I would be okay with it. I'm sure people will bitch and complain why don't you just have him go over him? But whatever.
If that is the case, I'd be totally fine with that, because any other time of year, if the Paul Bearer show was in November, and Kane beat him, I would have been totally okay with that. It's just that the build towards WrestleMania, I felt like it kind of disrupted it a little bit. But
but the thing is,
it's forgivable.
It's a tribute show, so you kind of just you put it out of mind, out of there.
Exactly.
Okay. Some other things coming out on Monday Night Raw was, for one, The Rock wasn't there because he's promoting his new movie, Big Shock.
Which one is that?
I think it's G.I. Joe, which I actually might go see.
Oh, how about that? Might see a review on here.
No,
probably not.
I don't want to bury The Rock. No, it looks pretty good. But anyway, interesting enough, this WWE decided that they didn't want to have Cena on the show as well, because they didn't want to draw out the fact that Rock wasn't there. Really kind of stupid. But they did have a very nice video package to hype up the feud between Rock and Cena, which I thought was actually very, very good. And give WWE the credit for where credit is due. They do video packages pretty damn good.
That's one of the things they do best.
Yeah.
Honestly, you watch their video package. If you just sat and watched only their video packages and bought their pay-per-views, you'd think they're an awesome company. They do that very well.
Two that always stuck in my mind were really good were, one, the Austin Rock from WrestleMania 17 was awesome.
Yeah.
That is I've seen that 1,000 times. It's great. And then the second one was the John Cena CM Punk one from Money in the Bank 2011.
That's a great one.
That is a great one. That's really cool. So yeah, WWE does video packages really well. They're really good at piping matches up to make them feel important. So I think it was kind of weird to have Cena on the show, but obviously it was a tribute show. Like I think they wanted to focus mainly on Punk and the Undertaker storyline, so it can be forgiven. But yeah, you kind of want to bring up kind of want to give Cena something to do on.
I mean, he's your main event.
Yeah,
The problem I had was that. I mean, I'm not a big Cena fan by any stretch of the imagination, but the fact that when you put Cena and Rock in the same ring and they cut promos, The Rock makes Cena look bad.
Really?
I mean, he makes him look a step below. I think The Rock is much more seasoned in that department. I think he does a lot better in the promo department.
Okay.
So I think that any time that The Rock isn't there, that Cena can come out and cut a promo and tear at The Rock a little bit. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that he's not there. That's a good thing to point out. Why not point that out?
I don't know why they wouldn't. I think it's just because they don't want to bring up the fact that the WWE champion is not there.
Right.
Which I can understand. But hey, that's something you should have thought about before you give him the belt.
Right. That's not, yeah. You can't blame that on your talent.
No. So yeah, and actually I thought, it's kind of ironic that we were talking about like Rock being better than Cena on the mic this year, when last year I thought Cena was on the mic
I thought it was better, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that like how it's, I don't know, I thought it was kind of even when they had that promo last week. I thought it was pretty.
I felt like almost The Rock would say something and Cena would be like, okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't have a problem with the idea of like, you say something to somebody and they, okay, I'll let my fighting do the talking.
Yeah.
But with Cena, it's almost like, okay, I'll let my booking do the talking. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to, I know that the booking's going to get you where you need to be. I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. And granted, though, The Rock does have a little bit of ammunition because, well, I'm the WWE champion, and it's something that you haven't been able to do for a year almost, and I beat you last time. So Rock had a little bit more ammunition, like going in that he could like fire at Cena. Well,
Right.
Cena just he's talking about.
But the thing is, Cena's had a year to think about that
Yeah.
ammunition. He should be mad.
Yeah.
If Cena should come out and be upset.
Yeah.
He had a terrible year by his standards.
Yeah.
So he needs to redeem himself. That's what this whole thing's about.
Yeah. One thing I found very interesting in that video package was they brought up the fact of his divorce.
Yeah.
Like that, I'm like, really? They're gonna bring that up? Holy, that was kind of like, really? You're gonna?
I was pretty.
That was really like, whew. That was kind of a.
I mean, it will help the storyline.
Yeah, hey.
But. And I'm sure Cena, he signed off.
Oh, of
I'm sure
course
he did,
Cena's gonna sign off on it.
Man, those are fresh wounds.
Whew, yeah.
Those are fresh wounds.
Yeah. A couple, $1 million is a flesh wound, right? Or fresh wound, whatever. Okay. Anything else to talk about from Raw? But before we get in the Mania card. Oh, Seth Rollins had his very first singles match on WWE, which lasted 20 seconds.
Hey.
It was fine, I thought it was, it was okay. I'm very happy that he was the first guy to get a match on Raw by himself because I'm a big Seth Rollins fan.
That's good to see.
Yeah.
Did you want to touch on Ryback?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's talk about that. Well, as of right now, this is spoilers for SmackDown, by the way. So if you watch SmackDown, they have announced that at WrestleMania it's going to be the Shield taking on Orton, Sheamus, and Ryback. But at the same time, they're building up kind of Ryback versus Mark Henry. So I'm pretty sure that Ryback's going to demand to be taken out of the match to face Mark Henry, and they're probably going to place him with the Big Show, which Big Show turning face for the 20,000th time, whatever, I think, in his WWE career, whatever. So I will say right now, I'm excited for Ryback versus Mark Henry. Not so much for the wrestling standpoint, but just for the fact that I think that is going to be a classic WrestleMania moment. Those two like staring in the ring, locking up for the first time, like just like that moment of them like looking in each other's eyes. It's going to be not as big as Hogan and Andre, but it's going to have that feel, I think, of that anticipation for these two guys just beating the hell out of each other.
See, I feel like this. I wouldn't go as far as you're saying. I just think that this match is going to have more of a Goldberg versus Lesnar feel, but I think it's going to deliver. I think it's going to be a good match.
That's a better example. That's a better example.
And I've talked to you about this before. The fact that Mark Henry, he can have a good match. He can go out there and have a good match with almost anybody. In the fact that he just understands how to do a match.
He's finally learned in-ring psychology after 10 years.
He can work a match. And let's be honest, Ryback, he's still green. He's still not my favorite.
No, but I'll say right now, he's shown vast improvements this year. He's shown a ton of improvement. I'll give him that.
And what I love about Mark Henry is that attitude of like, come on, bring it on. And so if you're going to have Mark Henry standing across the ring from this gigantic guy and saying, bring it on, that's something I want to see. That's something I want to see.
It's going to be fun, I think. I don't think this is going to be a technical miracle, but it's just going to be like one of those matches, like, you're just going to be jacked to see these guys lock horns.
Now, I hope that that's the match that they end up booking.
It'd be foolish not to, I think.
I think that they're a little bit torn because Ryback, he still does need that win over the Shield. You know, they beat him. And I think they're kind of torn, like, well, can we let him lose and keep pushing him as this monster? And I think they can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that the Shield would be better off moving away from him.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm most worried about is you put the Big Show in this match. I think that's going to hurt the match just a little bit. I don't think it's going to hurt it that much. Just a, you know.
I think it'll work because I think that him and Rollins not Rollins. Reigns. Sorry, are really just gonna like. I think it'd be interesting to see that those two guys lock up because like I was right now, Big Show getting powerbombed on Raw. That was pretty cool.
That was crazy.
Yeah, even though they did it like last week or whatever, like on the after the show, but it was still like a holy crap. This Roman Reigns guy he's a pretty fucking strong dude.
The only thing I have about this is if Ryback was in the match, I'd be totally okay with the Shield losing. Not because I like Ryback or that team.
It would just make sense.
Yeah. But you put Big Show in the match and the Shield loses, that would be upsetting because it would be a loss just to make your faces look good.
Yeah. I really don't think we're going to see the Shield lose at WrestleMania just because I think that WWE's are so high on these guys right now. They've been booking them so strongly. And I think that when they finally do, I think eventually it's not going to be the Shield. Like, I think when they eventually do have a loss, it's going to lead to the eventual crack of the Shield, like where they break up and do their own separate thing. So I think right now they want to stick with them as a unit and like be dominant, and then eventually you'll see the crack in the armor. And actually, one thing I think they might do is like have Ryback beat Mark Henry and like, oh, I've beaten the biggest monster. Like, I could beat the Shield now. Like, get that confidence that he can beat this thing. And then that'll be like the turning point of the Shield, like where Ryback has built the confidence, like where he can go after the Shield now or whatever.
Now, what I would really, if they did decide that Ryback needs to go back and beat the Shield, I think a great way to do that was have Ryback beat Henry, Shield come out, beat up Ryback, and then just go right into that 6-man tag. That way, Ryback's going to be, he's helped out of the arena, he's hurt, even though he won, so he still looks good, and then he can come back the next night and be like, you know what? I'm still coming after you guys.
That would actually be a pretty cool idea.
I think that would work if you still want Ryback to go
That's a cool idea. Okay, well, and while we're talking about the Mania card, let's get into the projected Mania cards. This is absolutely subject to change based on because they might change their mind 1,000 times. But one of the matches up for now looks like we might have Wade Barrett defending his IC title against The Miz, which I'm okay with. Should be all right.
That's fine. Yeah. I was expecting to see The Miz in a match with Cesaro, honestly. But,
I think that might have been a little better.
I think that would have been a better match.
Yeah.
It's got more build, but this match, it'll be fine. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be blow away by any means. The guys, they're both good talents.
Yeah.
I just think that they're both at kind of the same level.
Yeah, which is one reason I was kind of surprised. I'm hoping that they put Jericho in that match because I think Jericho's one of those veteran talents that he can kind of like push it to that next level, and get the best out of these guys, and make them both look good while at the same time not getting the win.
Exactly. I think that Jericho would make this match head and shoulders better.
Yeah.
I think he really would.
And I'd much rather see Jericho in this match rather than the rumored match with Fandango, whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah, he does not need to be on WrestleMania.
By the way, that character needs to go away fast.
I've heard, I hate to indulge in rumors, but I've heard that people have soured on him.
Yeah.
So
what took him so fucking long?
I mean, the guy, let's be honest, the guy's got talent.
I haven't seen his match.
The character...
it's stupid.
It's
stupid.
We get it.
And the whole
character's stupid.
The whole thing of like him coming out like, you didn't say my name right, and like like that's just so stupid. And just
he does it well, but
it doesn't make it
written
good.
for an idiot.
Yeah, another match that might take place is Team Hell No defending their tag team titles against Big E Langston and Dolph Ziggler. Now we And I think actually everyone thought that Team Hell No would have dropped the tag titles by now, and they would have had a one-on-one match, which personally I think would have been better. But again, this match, I don't have a problem with it, I think, because one, Ziggler can get a pretty good match in. I mean, him and Daniel Bryan had a match on Raw that was pretty fucking good. And they have very good chemistry together, I think.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to see Big E Langston in a match finally, because I've heard pretty positive stuff from his NXT work, and I didn't see how he works with, maybe like him and Kane could have like a big, big man, brawl or whatever, So
I think for what it is, it's not going to be too bad. I think they're going to do all right. I don't know what they're going to do with Rhodes Scholars. It hasn't really dawned on me.
That's the next one I got to talk about.
Personally, I would have preferred to see Rhodes Scholars versus Hell No.
That'd have been better. And
then Ziggler, I would have liked to see him not booked almost and being like, "You're not going to book me? I got the briefcase."
Yeah,
well, you're going to
myself.
mistake it. Yeah, it's a big mistake. But this match should be decent. It's just a match that I'm not looking forward to, and I don't think no matter how you book it, it's going to get that.
It's pretty obvious that this is just like throwing together shit. And this is one reason why they should bring Money in the Bank back to WrestleMania, because you got all this talent, but you don't have enough storylines to go around.
Yeah.
So speaking of Rhodes Scholars, first and foremost, I want to say that we forgot to mention the whole like Brock Lesnar thing, but like Rhodes Scholars doing the New Age Outlaws intro was the funniest thing I've seen all year.
That was fun.
That was hysterical. But Brock Lesnar beating the shit out of the New Age Outlaws was pretty funny too.
I was all for that.
Yeah,
honestly,
it made perfect sense.
And what's funny about it is like I'm watching this match, and I'm like, okay, the New Age Outlaws, they can still go.
Yeah, they're not.
I'm like, they're not unentertaining, but I'm like, this is going nowhere. When I'm watching, I'm like, this is fine, but it's going nowhere. And then the Lesnar music hits, and I'm like, and I had like a flashback to when Lesnar introduced himself, and he would just come into matches and fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he did. And I was just like, this is perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes sense because like, he's going after Triple H's buddies. Like, all right, like I'm waiting for the 1, 2, 3 kid to make an appearance, and that would be awesome. I'd love to see that. Or China.
Oh, God.
Okay, but anyway, so Rhodes Scholars might be booked in a match with the returning Bella Twins. Yeah, great use of money there to bring those two back. Sarah Del Rey, please come save the Divas. Please. We want to see Sarah wrestle again.
Here's the thing about the Bella Twins is that I don't like them. I never did.
No.
But I feel like the reason that they're back is to make 2 of their other top stars happy.
Yeah, John Cena, Daniel Bryan.
There's no other reason.
No, exactly.
There really isn't.
They obviously didn't bring them back there for their wrestling prowess or their personalities.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They brought them back to keep the boys on the road happy.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, if we're lying, we're dying.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm just saying, that's why they brought them back. There's really no reason to bring them back.
Let me ask him, though, if it was just Daniel Bryan dating one and some other guy on the roster, do you think they would have brought him back?
No.
Yeah, it had to be Cena. Yeah, it had to be Cena.
If you guys haven't seen John Cena
and the Bella Twins and Daniel Bryan at Christmas,
you need to look for that picture because it's something else.
Daniel Bryan wearing jean shorts. Was he wearing his shirt or whatever, his old merchandise again? Was he?
Cena?
Was he wearing his merchandise?
Oh my God! It was close.
Okay, it looked like him. Like it looked like what he wears on Raw every week.
Everybody else is nicely dressed. Cena shows up in ring gear. Hey, John, I appreciate the kayfabe.
Yeah, it's exactly. Okay, but anyway, so Rhodes Scholars and the Bella Twins, like the rumor is they might take on the team of Tensai and Brodus Clay and Cameron and Naomi, the chicks they have dancing with.
Funkadactyls.
Yeah, this is obviously gonna be the piss break match.
Yes, this match I couldn't care less about.
I will say right now though, I'll give a comment for one thing. One, kind of cool that Tensai's getting booked on WrestleMania, give him a nice WrestleMania paycheck, because he deserves it because he's worked his ass off.
He decided not to
quit,
to Japan.
And also, thank you for putting him in better ring attire.
Yeah,
his ring attire is a lot better.
He looks like Albert.
Yeah, but he was way too big for those pants.
The thing is, when he debuted, everything looked so tight. It looked like he couldn't even move.
Yeah, and also, can we get some new ring attire for Big E Langston? Like, remember when he was beating up Daniel Bryan? He takes the straps down. It's like, good lord,
dude. He needs something other than a one-piece bathing suit.
And
honestly,
God, oh my God. Okay, I believe that's all the Mania matches they have announced there. They have rumored so far. So hopefully by
Cesaro.
Right now the rumor is a pre-show with R-Truth. So
that's offensive, and
that's a very
upsets
offensive.
me very
The
much.
fact that Fandango is going to be could be on Mania over Cesaro, bullshit.
Yeah.
Book Cesaro and Jericho in a match. That'd be fucking
That'd be awesome. That would
People
be
would
such
shit
a good
themselves.
match. If you haven't seen Cesaro's matches,
God,
that would be something you wouldn't
look at some of
believe.
Cesaro's matches from ROH. They released a DVD about him.
I mean, you can look anywhere.
Yeah,
for his
look
matches.
at Chikara. He's great in Chikara.
Chikara, PWG,
PWG, oh
IWA,
my God.
anywhere you look, he's had great
He's amazing.
matches.
He's a top guy for sure. So, but I will say right now though, I'm glad they've been keeping him pretty consistent. But just like, come on, like you can do better than this. So hopefully after Mania they'll give him a really nice big push.
I think within the next year you're going to see a lot more from him.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Put him on the mic more, please. And also, I love his T-shirt.
His T-shirt is awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
I might have to buy that. I don't buy WWE merchandise ever, but
Yeah.
I might buy that.
We always support the indie guys when they get a shirt though.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of indie guys and one big name from that WWE recently signed was El Generico, and they unmasked him. Let me say right now, and for all you kids at home, turn off the video. Seeing El Generico unmasked was like being revealed that Santa Claus is not real. It was heartbreaking. My childhood my inner wrestling fan was crushed when I saw him unmasked.
Now, I haven't seen the pictures.
You-
I
oh my-
know that they're out there, and I've clicked on the link to hear about that he's unmasked. I know he's unmasked, but I refuse to see the pictures until he's on my television. I want to be like, oh, that's Generico. But I'm pretty upset. I mean, I'm pretty upset.
Here's my rationale behind it, though. Okay, I have some rationale. First and foremost, I'm hoping and praying WWE's just doing this as an experiment. Saying, like, let's see how he works without the mask. Because bear in mind, Del Rio, when he was originally was in Mexico, he was a masked luchador. And then they unmasked him, and he worked very well without the mask. So that's why they kept him without the mask. So maybe they're just testing the water to see if he works better with the mask, if the crowd really likes him without the mask, and just testing the water, so to speak. Which I can understand.
That'd be fine, but if they don't put the mask back on him before he debuts,
Yeah.
I think it's just
You're throwing away money.
Yes, I feel like that is just stupid.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you get online and people will say, oh, don't judge it before it happens. But the fact is, this is a guy that's over.
Yeah.
He's been over. He got himself over with a mask on. You are throwing away millions of dollars if you think that he's not going to come up.
Yeah.
He could come up there, get over with the mask, sell masks. And the thing about masks is you can always take them off.
Yeah, exactly. Let me grab this point. Rey Mysterio, near retirement. Sin Cara, dud. Kane, no alarm mask. Who are your mask guys in WWE right now?
Right. Kane ain't selling shit for masks.
Yeah. He back in the day.
Yeah.
But
since you put the mask,
forgot. I actually forgot he was
mask back on him.
I forgot he was masked still. Like Jesus, yeah. Like that's how effective it is. Like I don't remember he's masked again.
Right. The fact that that's the thing WWE doesn't understand. You can't put a mask back on a guy and expect people to care.
Yeah. Thank God they did with Rey Mysterio though.
Yes, but Mysterio
wasn't in WWE when they had
exactly,
that. Yeah.
Exactly.
WCW is one of the WCW's biggest mistakes, I think.
I think that was really stupid.
Yeah.
I mean.
Anyway, but yeah, like you need that guy to have like the mask because it will sell so much merchandise. He can work in a mask, but I will say right now, the mask is not going to be the key to his success.
No.
He will succeed. So everyone's saying, "Oh, they've ruined him. They've ruined his career." Shut the fuck up. Okay, he'll be fine. Okay, his ring skills are amazing. He is one of the best workers in independent wrestling ever. Okay, he'll be fine. Okay, you put him in the ring, he'll be great. But I do really think that WWE is going to look at this and say, how can you work without the mask? How can you work with the mask? How does the crowd react to him? This and that. They're going to look at that first before deciding what to do. And Vince McMahon is not an idiot. Vince McMahon knows about one thing: making money. And that is why they're going to put that mask back on if they have a single rational thought in their mind.
See, I really hope that that's what they're doing. They're testing the waters.
Yes.
But the thing is, you're right. Vince McMahon knows how to make money, but he's great at making money at other people's expense. So if that means going out and scooping up all these guys off the indies and trashing the indies and leaving them with no money, then he's by all means he'd be willing to do that.
Yeah.
Let's not joke. The fact is, I'm not a naysayer because Generico, he can wrestle. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I think no matter what, you could give him a lollipop, and he'll go out there and get over. You know, I'm just saying the guy is awesome. But the fact that they did this, it just kind of strikes to me the fact that they don't respect any other wrestling than their own. They don't care at all about international wrestling, independent wrestling. They don't care about wrestling as a business outside of the wrestling that fits in that little WWE.
I'll give you that one. That's a pretty good point.
That's why I'm frustrated with it.
Okay, but like I said, I'm willing to forego judgment until he is literally on WWE TV, not NXT, WWE TV with no mask.
Right.
Then
if he doesn't have a mask, then it's stupid. Even if he gets over, bad decision.
Yeah, because you're wasting money.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, let's switch gears here and let's talk a little bit about CHIKARA, who we haven't talked about much recently. They have been doing pretty well for their first, is it the 13th season? CHIKARA, I think.
I believe you're right.
Okay. Yeah. So 13th season for CHIKARA, and well, they had their shows recently in Florida this past weekend. One of the advertised matches was Awesome Kong making her CHIKARA return, I believe. I think
yes, it was.
And she was taking on the grand champion Eddie Kingston. Unfortunately, the show ran very, very late, and so it was a 7-minute main event. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Awesome Kong is probably one of the best women's wrestlers out there. But the problem is she's just such a large and dominant woman that her in a match with a woman doesn't really have great chemistry because obviously Kong's going to win. So her going to be against Eddie Kingston, I thought, oh, this will be very interesting because both have, very hard-hitting styles. And to make it a 7-minute match is very disappointing to me as a fan. And almost makes me not want to watch the match.
Yeah, it is frustrating to hear that because, and don't get me wrong, I've seen some great matches. I've seen a match with Roderick Strong that was 9 minutes long and almost won match of the year.
I know what you're talking about.
Phenomenal match. But the fact that your main event of the evening is 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And I understand if your show ran long, but cut somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Anywhere else. That's a match that I would have bought the DVD for. Now, I'm not going to go out of my way for 7 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and another thing is the next night up, I guess Kingston has like a hand injury or some kind of injury because he wasn't able to defend his title against Greenhand. But now they're going to be setting up for a rematch eventually, but he's defending the title at every show, they say now. The Grand Champion will defend it. It's a whole thing with him and Wink or whatever. They're having a feud. Very reminiscent of Steen and Cornette kind of thing. Which, okay, I'm kind of cool with. But I've just been kind of confused with CHIKARA's book. I like a lot of their booking. Like, it's pretty clear that they have, like, some big things going, but it seems like this year's taking a little while to get going, really.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like the idea of defending the title more often. It feels like it was almost never done.
Yeah.
And I think that defending it more often, especially as a young title as it is, that it will build it up, give it some prestige.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think that CHIKARA's booking has hurt it a little bit. It's almost like they commit to storylines before the wrestlers they have for those storylines are ready.
Yeah. For instance, they got one storyline going on where Soldier has been kicked out of the colony, which started last year when Wink rearranged the colony and the Swarm. Now the Swarm is all but gone. I don't know where Deviant is, but he hasn't been booked on the last few shows. But Soldier has a new colony called the Colony Extreme Force. It has Arctic Rescue Ant, Orbital Adventure Ant, and Missile Assault Ant. And now, from what I heard, that these ants aren't that good or whatever, I think they're meant to be kind of comedy-ish or whatever. So, but it's just what do I don't understand why they messed with the colony. That was such a great group. Now, granted, Assailant has done very well for himself. He's done pretty good of getting himself over, and the crowd seems to really like him. But I would much rather just had Soldier or Assailant added to the colony and not take away the original colony.
Yeah, I think that this is probably going to end up eventually where the original colony reunites. But
yeah.
I think there's too many ants.
Yeah,
I think that you're going to confuse your audience.
Yeah.
It almost feels like you're watching a wrestling promotion built around ants where other people came in.
Yeah.
You don't want that, but I don't want to judge it before I've seen too
much.
And
I'll be honest, we have not seen any of the CHIKARA shows. We're basing this purely off the results we've read. So this could obviously change after we see the matches and see how they do when we watch them.
Right.
So we're just saying that right now. And also, I want to talk really quickly about Jakob Hammer and his booking, where he's being booked as a very, very top-level competitor almost.
Yeah.
Like he's having a match with Hollow Wicked, not Tim Donst.
I think eventually he will.
Yeah, he's gonna have a match. Eventually, it's leading to it eventually. But he's been booked in very top-level matches. Oh, he had one with Mark Angelo Setti, Mr. Touchdown for the Young Lions Cup. And the thing is about Jakob, and we love Jakob. We met him at live shows.
Yes.
Very, very funny guy. Very entertaining guy.
Yes, very personable.
Yes, very. Love talking to the guy. He's he's hilarious. I'm not a fan of Jakob being in super competitive long matches. Jakob's one of those guys like Grizzly Redwood where he's fun in a 7-minute match. He's good at comedy, but he's not a great wrestler.
No, he's not. And the thing is, he's not seasoned.
No.
And Grizzly is much more seasoned.
Yeah.
So it's hard to even draw that comparison. When you go back last year and watch. I think it's the Zelda show. Maybe it's a piece of the action where it's Hammermeyer versus Soldier Ant.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think it was piece of the action.
And Soldier Ant, Soldier Ant had to lose that match, and you could tell through that match that Jakob had no business being in there. Mm-hmm. His whole offense was based around chops and forearms.
Yeah, he does a lot of those.
It's almost like he gets really tired and that he just falls back on these strikes because he doesn't really know what he should do. And especially with a guy as over as Soldier Ant and Hollow Wicked.
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw, these are guys that he has no business being in competitive matches with.
Yeah.
And no matter how you want to build it from a storyline perspective, mm-hmm. when you put that in the ring, it's just blatantly obvious.
And like I said again, we love Jakob, but Jakob, he's not going to be this guy who's going to be a top level competitor in CHIKARA.
And the thing is, he's in a feud with Donst.
They're
building towards.
Yeah,
he's in
Donst's stable right now. He's still like buddies with Donst, but like it's pretty clear that they're going to be building to it eventually.
Right, and the thing is, Donst had the main event spot for the title against Kingston in their biggest show of the year last year.
Well, their season finale.
Yes. Well, I guess their season finale, which was an pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The thing is, Jakob, there's no way I can see him at that level. Mm-hmm. And so if he's going to have a match with Donst, I don't think it's going to be very believable. Hopefully he doesn't pull out the win, but
yeah, we'll see. Also, 3.0 to winning the Campeonatos de Parejas. What do you think about that?
I love it. I think they should have held it longer last time. Yep. I didn't see how they won it this time. I'm not really sure how it went, but
it's pretty good.
I think those guys are those are guys that are meant for CHIKARA. Yep. They're meant for the Campeonatos de Parejas.
Yep.
I think they deserve more bookings.
Yeah. It's really a shame though that they had to win the titles and then immediately lose them. And obviously, I think it was it was obviously done because they weren't sure about how soon Johnny was going to be back, and they just wanted to make sure that they had the champions without Mm-hmm. So I understand, but it does kind of suck because they just did the whole thing where Chuck Taylor and Johnny Gargano won the titles for a second time, and it was a big deal because they're the first team to ever do that, and then the 3.0 does it right away after that. It's it kind of sucks.
Excuse me, it took away from it a little bit.
But I heard they had a pretty much with the Devastation Corporation, which apparently the Devastation Corporation actually had a really good match, and they look more agile than they'd looked before. So
wow,
yeah, I'm like, holy crap, really? So I'm actually interested to see how that works out because I was very sour on those guys working for CHIKARA, but
I'm still not sold on those guys.
Yeah,
those guys
but if the match is good, I'm in. I'll be willing to believe it. And also we want to talk about their WrestleMania card, which they've gotten booked so far. Which first match is Saturine versus Cobalt, which I'm not really looking forward to that much because both wrestlers aren't my favorite.
No.
Saturine's okay, Cobalt's okay, So
they both just need a lot of seasoning, I think.
Yeah. The return of Ultramantis, who had a surgery apparently. I didn't hear about that.
I hadn't either.
Yeah, I think he hurt himself at when he won the King of Trios because if you watch, he's holding his shoulder really tightly.
Okay.
So I think but he had to get a surgery. He's coming back now, which very happy to see that happen. Mike Quackenbush and a mysterious partner will take on Jigsaw and the Shard. Very excited about that. I wonder I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe see Shane Storm come back or something like that.
Oh, you think they'd stretch back to the old days?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised either.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and very, very nostalgic, which CHIKARA always does nostalgia very nicely.
Yes, they do.
Speaking of nostalgia, how about this? Ophidian will be taking on his former partner Amasis in Amasis' return match.
That should be awesome.
That is...
But is that on one of their big shows? That's a big show, right?
It's Mania weekend.
Okay, good. Because I don't want that to be wasted, because that's a big deal. That's something that...
My only wish is I wish it was an night pay-per-view. I wish that.
I agree with that. I hope Amasis, he's been off for a while, so I hope he's in ring shape. But these guys, they're going to have incredible chemistry.
Oh, yeah. They work how long were they tag team partners for, years?
Yeah, and they've been, they were in the CHIKARA school working together. Yeah. So you know that it'll be a good match. As long as Amasis is in shape, which I'm not doubting. No, I'm just saying he's been off for a while, so... It's
pretty obvious that he must have been getting back in the ring shape. But I'm very shocked that he's coming back, because I was convinced that he was gone for real. I thought he was legitimately retired because of, I think it was a car crash he was in.
It was like a neck injury or something. Yeah, something serious. Yeah, and actually, me and Justin were at a CHIKARA show where he was supposed to be there, and, it was, right after he got injured, and, we talked to Ophidian, and, Ophidian was like, yeah, it looks like he's going to have to retire. So did they plan this all along? It's holy crap. It's hard to tell. Yeah. It really is.
That's what they love about CHIKARA. They'll keep kayfabe, even...
They're good at it.
They're good at it, yeah. They're really good at it. So, very excited to see Amasis back, and I'm very interested to see what they do. Very much doubt this is going to be a feud ender. This is just going to be building to the end of the year, probably.
Yeah, I would assume.
So, all right, well, next we'll switch gears to ROH, and the big news from ROH this week is that at Border Wars, their iPay-per-view in May, I believe... Is it May 10th or something like that, or 11th?
Something like that.
Okay. I think it's the second weekend in May. For Border Wars 2013 live in Toronto, they will be having Noah talent back again. Since 2009, even?
I think that's it.
Obviously, we're super excited about this, because I think I said in our year-end review of 2012 how much I wanted to see Noah come back to ROH.
Yeah.
And so it's thank God that the Lizard Man does it again.
Yes, he strikes again.
This is part of a deal where in April, Bobby Fish and Eddie Evers are going to be going over to Noah for a little while, which kind of sucks to lose one of the tag team partners, but I'm sure ROH will...
And Eddie.
Yeah, and actually, I guess they're not going to be doing any live shows, so it's it makes sense, because they got TV or whatever.
Yeah,
so
they're not going to miss too much, but...
But this is awesome, and obviously there's a lot of matches we'd love to see. First and foremost, let me say right now, I want to see Kenta versus Elgin.
That would be a sweet match.
Yeah.
There's any number of matches. I want to see Morishima.
Morishima needs to come back.
Kenta, don't get me wrong, he's one of my favorites of all times, but the thing is, when Morishima's in a match, it's just this different feel. You just feel you prove to me that you can beat this big guy. It's just very...
One person recommended, a buddy of mine I know on Twitter said, what if they did Morishima versus Elgin?
I think that'd be a great match.
Yeah, I kind of wish that Border Wars they had they could do more shows with Noah Town, because I'd love to see Elgin versus Kenta and Morishima.
But the thing is, there's so many guys over there that I'd love to see more.
Oh yeah.
There's Kenta.
Yeah.
There's Morishima. Mm-hmm. There's Nakajima.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, there's what's his name? Go Shiozaki. I'd love to see Go back.
Go Shiozaki doesn't work for Noah anymore.
Oh, was that? That's right. He did after the big.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that maybe possibly Delirious could give him a call and say, hey, you guys want to come work for us real quick?
I would love to see some New Japan talent.
Marufuji, whatever.
He's Noah.
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back. Also, this I don't know if this has to do with it, but they're hyping on the newswire that Roderick's demanding a very big competitor for Supercard of Honor. What if it's a Noah guy?
See, I think that it will be.
I think it would be too.
But I wouldn't be shocked if it's one of the Hooligans, just because they're a Japanese talent also. But if it's a Noah talent, I'd be so happy. I'd be so
he's faced Kent before, I know, but has he faced Marufuji before? I think he did.
He's faced. At least in a tag match, he's faced Marufuji.
Okay. I know. I think it was had one at Man Up, I think too.
He had a match with Kenta on TV, which is sick.
Yeah. But yeah,
his Nakajima match, that's the match I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a great
almost the match of the year.
That'd be cool because I think wasn't that at Supercard of Honor 3, wasn't it? or 4.
I believe it was a super.
It was Super Card of Honor. I think it was number 4 or number 3. So hey, maybe like have him versus who was it again? Nakajima.
Nakajima. Yeah.
Nakajima, yeah, and like a rematch from Supercard. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be great.
We'll be interested to see. I'm hoping it's a Noah guy because that'd just be awesome. Because like it's Supercard of Honor. You want to bring in big name talent.
Even if it's guys that haven't been here before, anybody, bring them over, give them some experience. Yeah. You know that the American crowd's gonna respect them.
Imagine what if it was Nakamura.
I'd probably cry. I'd be in. Oh man,
we'd be
tears.
We'd be hopping on the first flight to New York. We'd be fucking breaking down the door.
Every last cent I had just.
It's a sold out show. By the way,
I don't care.
We'll break in.
We'll find a way.
Also worth mentioning for Supercard of Honor, they've added is Charlie Haas taking on his old partner Shelton Benjamin. Thoughts?
I'm okay with this just as long as one of them leaves after.
I
think Shelton is going to be gone.
Yeah.
This is fine with me. I think this is one of those matches that people are going to see on paper and be like, oh, I want to see that. Yeah. These guys, they better have some damn chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't.
Yeah. It's obvious they're going to have chemistry, and like it makes sense because like okay, let them have a match to get the feud over with, and send Shelton on his way, But
plus, we haven't seen Shelton in a singles match yet.
Not in a while, no.
I mean, maybe once.
He had a match at Death Force Honor 9, where he faced.
I think that was the only one. Maybe another house show.
Yeah, and Supercard of Honor the last Supercard of Honor before.
I know that a lot of people wanted to see him in single matches, and that didn't happen.
Which really shame they didn't do that more. It would make terrible waste. Because like him versus Eddie in a single match would be cool.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of matches that people would like to see.
Okay.
But I think this is a match this is probably the best match you're gonna see out of Charlie Haas. I think it might even be better than his match at Chicago with BJ, which I thought was one of his best matches you'll see out of him these days. Yeah. So.
Okay. And last but not least, worth mentioning, we're mentioning Noah. But how about NWA going to wrestle a little bit of New Japan Pro Wrestling?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's huge for NWA, and I think that I don't think it really helps New Japan that much. I don't think it hurts them anyway. I just think that.
Well, if they're trying to appeal, I think it's a good thing if they want to appeal more to North America.
I think that New Japan would have done better for themselves if they would have tuned into some of the ROH audience.
I agree.
You got guys that work for Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Even that's the thing that was confusing is that New Japan doesn't even have guys that work on their roster that work for NWA. Most of them work for Ring of Honor. I think that it would have worked better for Ring of Honor just because you got talent that's crosses over a little bit better. I don't know. NWA, I really just lost so much respect from last year after the whole title debacle and the 7
stages of hell.
Just
levels of hell, whatever.
Yes. It's just, I don't know. I'm ready for them to go away for good. Mm-hmm. But if anything, New Japan might spark a little life in them. So.
And also, it's worth mentioning that I think, what is it, All Japan Pro Wrestling? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to be wrestling there as well. Like, they're going to send some guys up there. They're doing like this whole invasion show or something like that.
That should be cool. I mean, All Japan's still got a lot of guys. They've done a poor job of building their product, but they've still got talent. So.
Okay. Well, I think that's about it. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Maybe that'll be good. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I'd like them to send Adam Pearce because I love Adam Pearce, and I think he's for whatever reason still working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I have no idea why.
Well, the thing is the best part about him.
NWA, sorry.
The only thing is the best part about him is cutting promos, and you wouldn't see many of those over there. So.
Well, what's his name? Davey Boy Smith and Jr. and Vance Archer.
Yeah, they cut promos all the time. But.
So I don't know. We'll see. All right, well, that will do it for us. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to Strong Style Studios on YouTube and follow us on Twitter if you want to. We don't really do it much, but we'll try to work that in there more. And take care. Bye.